The Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce hosts each month Capital Connection throughout the 2020 legislative session. The Rutherford County legislative delegates are invited to keep the chamber membership well informed on issues affecting business, economy, and other relevant topics.
As always, I want to thank our legislative delegation for being here today, and we appreciate all you do in Nashville, and appreciate all you do to support business in the chamber.
As far as my agenda this year, I've got there's a lot of bills going through. One thing I had last year was the Secretary of State asked me to carry voter registration reform to eliminate fraud and to clean up some codes, and we did that. And a Democrat appointed judge overturned about 60% of it. So due to her judicial decision, we're going back and rerunning legislation within her boundaries before the election, so we can clean that up and hold people accountable. We just want to make sure that people aren't committing fraud, there's proper training, and there's proper conduct in these elections. For 3 years I've been working on, and it just keeps changing every year, and finally I got the right people involved, and our violent mental health reform is coming through. We can get people that could potentially be a threat in a mass shooting or mass killing or some incident. We can get them help so they can function normally and won't be a threat to anyone. And if this passes, it will be, hopefully we can avoid the Waffle House shootings and other things and get people help. Because it's not about locking people up or taking weapons away or taking their rights away. It's getting them help so they can function normally.
Some of the things I guess I've talked about, TASER, I got the TASER study that I'd talked to some commissioners about, and the mayor. I know the mayor and commissioners are well concerned about infrastructure needs, about building schools, and like I said in the meeting, just to anytime you elevate the conversation and see what our needs are and what we can do to fix them, I think is very healthy. Along that study, not just whether it's development fees, impact fees, or other fees, but also study our cost. I know there's a scripture about it. I think Luke somewhere where no one builds a tower without first studying the cost, and our costs are exponentially growing. It's unsustainable to build a school a year. The mayor knows this. Commissioners know it because y'all are tasked with having to hit that light to vote for that tax increase that you don't want to do. My pay freeze bill that some people don't like, that freezes the mayor and the sheriff and the other top brass across the state, not getting much support on that. It's an unfunded state mandate. So anytime you hear about the state with unfunded state mandates, bring up this bill. It saves the taxpayers $3 million the first year, $3 million. And I'll have 5, 6 taxpayer-funded lobbyists. So I bring it up every year just where I could speak about it and expose some of these things. Full transparency.
One of the pieces that I'm very proud that passed the Senate and should on its way in the House and should be passed here soon is the safe haven law. Right now in Tennessee, a mother has 3 days to surrender a child. I started looking at the law, and 107 babies have been saved since the law was enacted. And a lot of states do up to 30 days. And so we decided, and I'm carrying this piece and passed it in the Senate, 14 days. Another thing that I'm very passionate about and we're trying to call attention to is sex trafficking. And I have 2 of bills for the TBI on sex trafficking, and it's a huge problem in our state.
We don't have February's numbers yet, but January revenues were $1.55 billion in collections on the state of Tennessee. That's $129.4 million more than we had budgeted. That's 11.86% above January of last year. It's a huge growth, 11.86%. We've had 34 consecutive months of positive growth. Year to date, our revenue collections are $480.5 million above projections. We've got the state's doing well financially. And we've got a $40.5 billion budget this year. It's going to fund a lot of very needed services. But the state continues to do so well. CON reform, we're completely taking a look at reforming the CON process, trying to streamline it, make the process simpler and more affordable on the front end so that companies, healthcare providers, a number of healthcare providers across the state that want to do business in Tennessee, it's a little bit easier to do so. Second bill I'm carrying is tobacco and vaping to 21. That's become the law on a federal level. 44 out of 50 states and people die in our life expectancy. 47 out of 50 states in smoking. And this is one of the few ways I think that we can really make a difference. And I do believe this is a business issue. Third bill I'm carrying this next week is I'm carrying the professional privilege tax bill that the governor has introduced. Plan right now is to eliminate 50% of that professional privilege tax, which is about $40 million this year, which is a big step in the right direction.
This is a bill that would help moderately low-income households and veterans purchase their first home through the Tennessee Housing Development Agency. The abbreviation for that group is THDA. The way it would do this is, I guess specifically, is it would raise the statutory cap on the maximum aggregate principal amount for outstanding bonds and notes for the THDA. It would raise that cap from $2.93 billion to $5 billion, really a little bit more than a $2 billion increase. So I think that this is a good bill because it offers the potential to help people. I think it also offers the ability to promote economic activity.
A bill that I have with Senator White, the BEP, the schools are just consuming the budget here locally. While the BEP on one end rewards some counties that don't have a strong tax base, they don't really have anything in there for those that have exceeding amounts of growth. We do have in there the average daily membership, but it kind of falls behind where we need to be. And so the bill that we have is going to have the BEP Review Committee look at those of us that fall under the County Powers Act and what we can get potentially on this capital outlay. Another big issue I'm working on, President Trump and CMS offered something called the Healthy Adults Opportunity Block Grant. And what that is, it's for the uninsured. And as opposed to expanding Medicaid, what this does is by partnering with employers for premium support that way, partnering with these individuals, having them pay a portion of it, and then can we draw down a federal block grant for these individuals with a work requirement.